Welcome to Lost Girl Therapy. So, very recently I was on vacation with my family, and I was in a location where I had been 3 years ago. And 3 years ago when I was really sick, I could barely make it through that vacation. I was like shaking the entire time. I was having like dissociative symptoms. I always felt like my soul was leaving my body. I was shaking uncontrollably. It was all bad. This time when we went back, I now have a grip on my POTS and I like understand what to do, especially in hot environments. But I was able to enjoy myself a lot more, but I did still need periods of rest. So in this particular situation, my parents got to talking to a couple that was sitting next to them on a lounge chair, and the guy was a neurosurgeon at the Mayo Clinic. And somehow, some way, they got into the conversation about how I have POTS. And this man asked pretty like succinctly, like, how long she had it for? And my mom was like, 3 years. Last time we were here, it was bad. And he's like, oh, and has she turned a corner? And it was an interesting question because no one ever really asks that. And my mom was like, you know, surprisingly, yes, she has. In like the last 6 months, she's just gotten better. And he said something very interesting. He said, because the Mayo Clinic has a POTS wing or arm, he said that they are seeing a lot of patients who, after like the 3-year mark, suddenly start getting better. And they don't know why. And in some ways, that's satisfying to me because I like knowing that information. And in other ways, it's infuriating to me because I just went through 3 years of hell and I was like, I didn't know if there was a way out and I didn't know if I would get better. But the larger discussion here is that time plays a massive role in healing. Time, at least for me, has played a massive role in what healing actually looks like. And I still have yet to process all of the shit that I have gone through. There are days when I walk down the block in London and I'm like, do you remember when you couldn't walk down the block because you would like, you know, end up on the sidewalk? Or do you remember when you couldn't ride the subway because the vibration made you want to throw up and your like vision would get blurry? Or do you remember when you couldn't sit on a park bench because if the wind blew the wrong way, you were having an anxiety attack and nobody knew why? And when I think about all of the stuff that I've gone through, it is shocking to me that I can stand here right now in this space and talk to you. Because I spent so many years fighting for my own health. And the fact that I don't need to fight as hard anymore is a very weird experience. But a lot of that has to do with the practices that I've done. But the other half of it is the time that I have spent healing. And time has not always been kind. Time has not always been nice. Time has been infuriating and frustrating and annoying. But the moment that I stopped fighting time, and the moment that I just said, I guess this is what my life looks like now, was truly the moment that things just started changing slightly. And trust me when I tell you, if I saw someone watching a video saying this to me, I would say like, F you. 100%. If this was me 3 years ago and I saw someone telling me this and they say it gets better and it does, like, I would say no way, because I was in the depths of darkness. And I was sitting there screaming up to the heavens saying, why is this happening to me? And why am I not getting better? And what the hell did I do to cause this? This amount of pain, this amount of frustration, this amount of rage and anger. And how can I endure so much? And is this what the rest of my life is supposed to look like? And thank God, for me, that answer is no. That's not what the rest of my life is going to look like. And I attribute that hugely to time's natural healing, me listening to what my body needed. And you'll see that in a previous video of me talking extensively about the shift that I made when it came to me just listening to what my body was trying to tell me, and having the right doctors and the right practices to actually allow me to grow and heal. I got really tired of being mad at the world. And the moment that I stopped being mad at the world, I actually started caring for myself and showing myself sympathy and understanding and acceptance. And that really is what allowed my nervous system and and allowed me emotionally to move through this, still mad and still angry and still upset, but processing it in a different way that didn't cause me to hold so much tension and so much rage that I was actually fighting my own body, but instead allowed me to say, you know what, it is what it is, and it's really freaking shitty, and I absolutely hate this, and this is miserable, but it is what it is, and what am I going to do with it right now? And the change and the healing and the time and everything that has occurred over the last 3 years allowed me to turn that corner, even if it was going to happen, like this doctor was saying, you know, even if they're seeing this all the time with people who have POTS post-COVID or post-vaccine, and suddenly we're all turning a corner. Even if that was going to happen, I still needed to show up for myself, and I still needed to show myself care and show my body care, and just say, I'm here, I'm listening, I'm paying attention to you, because someone has to.